record first.
Yeah.
Look, it's almost out. It's peeling.
Oh no! Dang.
All the showers.
You can still get back in.
I can still get back in. 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Samrak.
I'm Geneva. I'm Sarah.
So today we have a tribute video. Today's video features Bob Saget, Gone But Not Forgotten tribute. So as you all know, we've been trying to do this, like looking at the lives of people who we grew up with, right? Basically, like on TV, on the radio. This is part of YouTube, yeah? YouTube's our time capsule to everything, right? Our time machine.
Correct.
So he was gone like not too long ago, yeah?
Yep.
So we're going to be watching the Gone But Forgotten series, his tribute here, Bob Saget, and we plan on doing more of these. So are we ready?
Oh yeah. Yes.
He's known as Danny Tanner, right?
Yeah.
I would also like to point out it was Geneva's first time at the Pink Ladies not too long ago as well. Pink Ladies, if you don't know, that's the Full House in San Francisco. So that was a good, cool experience, yeah?
I've never been to San Francisco, and I've always, like, a lot of what I've seen from San Francisco in the movies is a lot from Full House and, like, the streets, and the men, it always looks so cute and pretty, and it really looks like that there, and I was like, ah!
Yeah. I grew up in Northern California, so I've been to San Francisco many, many times. Yeah.
I want to go to San Francisco too.
Yeah, you go to SFO.
I want to go to see the Lions Grove. Hey there, ho there, how do you do? From Princess Diaries.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah, Princess Diaries. And then she goes up. Yeah, she's driving a Mustang with Julie Andrews.
Those streets, man.
Yeah.
Those streets are serious.
Yeah.
I'm excited to, I don't really know much about him other than I think his stand-up is supposed to, I've never seen his stand-up.
I've seen, like, a bit of his stand-up, but I know him more through Full House, of course.
Me too. So I'm excited to learn some new information because they did really good on the other ones.
So, be ready?
Yeah.
So if you do like our reaction, please like, comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. All right. Again, this is Bob Saget, Gone But Not Forgotten tribute. And here we go.
Wake up, San Francisco! Hi, I'm the perky Danny Tanner.
As one of the funniest voices of his generation, Bob Saget, he would find new creative and often vulgar ways to express his own frustrations with life. And yet, let's be honest, many of us will remember him in a totally different light as a TV dad, the guy we all wished we grew up with. Now, his portrayal of Danny Tanner was everything a father was supposed to be. He was loving, he was considerate, he was funny, he was accepting, and he touched everyone who ever watched it. Now, that's probably why here at the hour of his death, many of us are finding his passing so difficult. Sorry, it's with a heavy heart that I tell you that this past weekend, Bob Saget, he was found dead in his hotel room, and he was just 65 years old. Now, in a statement released to the press, his family stated, "We are devastated to confirm that our beloved Bob passed away. He was everything to us, and we want you to know how much he loved his fans, performing live and bringing people from all walks of life together with laughter. Though we ask for privacy at this time, we invite you to join us in remembering the love and laughter that Bob brought to the world." Now, personally, I couldn't think of a better way to honor the man, so let's take a look back at Bob Saget's life and career.
A lot of people.
Look at the Chris Farley one.
Bob Saget was born Robert Lane Saget on May 17, 1956, in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father Benjamin was a supermarket executive, and his mother Rosalind, she worked in hospital administration. His entry in the world of comedy came about in a somewhat unusual way. Now, he told the Philadelphia Inquirer in 2016 that when he was only 17 years old, he won a local radio contest by phoning in and performing a song about BDSM. In fact, he told them, "A 17-year-old singing a song about bondage? I learned that I have not grown since that day. The lyrics were misogynists and sadists unite one and all. Bondage is the rage, let's have a ball." It wasn't even a joke. It was a cheerleading song about bondage. In the mid-70s, Bob, he would head off to Temple University where he studied film. Now there, he'd earn a Student Academy Award for a documentary he's created titled Through Adam's Eyes, which was about a nephew of his who had undergone facial reconstructive surgery. While Bob spent most of his time on campus shooting film, now he would also hone his comedy chops by performing improv at the University of Pennsylvania campus. Now eventually, after graduating in 1978, well, Bob, he would move out to LA, where he quickly made a name for himself by performing as a regular at the Comedy Store. But as successful as Bob's stand-up career was becoming, well, it was his television career that would turn him into a household name. A handful of breaks that took place within a quick succession of one another, well, they would change Bob's career forever. After a brief stint on the CBS News series titled The Morning Program.
We have a ton of people here, so many people that want to talk. I'm just going to run from person to person. Okay, who's first?
Well, Bob would get fired.
I didn't know he did
Now,
any of
luckily,
these.
just as he was being shown the door by one network, well, another one was welcoming him into the fold. ABC immediately hired him to be one of the lead stars in their newest sitcom, a show called Full House. On Full House, Bob, well, he played a widowed father who shared his house alongside his 3 daughters, his brother-in-law, and his best friend. Now, airing from 1987 to 1995, well, the series would introduce us not only to Bob, but other soon-to-be household names like John Stamos, as well as Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen on its journey towards becoming one of the most beloved sitcoms of all time. Now, beyond the phenomenon that was Full House, well, Bob, he was also famous for hosting the uber-popular television series, America's Funniest Home Videos from 1989
I forgot about that.
And while most of his material on that series kept in line with his PG persona, well, every once in a while, his darker side, it would just somehow slip in there.
Thank you very much. Hey, everybody, and welcome to America's Funniest Hate Videos, where every week we bring you the most hilarious home videos from hate groups, patriotic militias, and people who just aren't happy.
Now, his work in comedy aside, Bob, he also worked diligently as a philanthropist when it came to battling scleroderma. Now, this is a chronic disease that can lead to a hardening and a tightening of connective tissue and skin. Now, Bob's sister was only 44 years old when her battle with the disease began. Now, she tried to combat the disease with all the available medication, but the best it could do was mask her symptoms. Now, eventually she had to move in with her parents, and just 2 short years later, well, she would sadly pass away. From that point forward, well, Bob, he would become heavily involved with the disease, and in 1996, well, he even produced and directed a television film that was basically loosed on the story of his sister. He titled it For Hope. After Full House came to an end and his time on America's Funniest Home Videos wound down, well, Bob, he would spend a few years directing further films like The Mind of a Married Man and the Norm Macdonald film Dirty Work. This is before eventually returning to the comedy circuit and relishing his abilities to mock his formerly wholesome image as America's dad. Suddenly, an entire generation was learning that Bob Saget, well, he was far less like Danny Tanner than they could have ever imagined. This was probably best summed up during his legendary performance of The Aristocrats for the documentary that explained the origins of the joke's history.
And the point was censorship, different ways that people can do an art form, you know, all tell the same thing. Everybody paint the same painting, and let's see what happens.
Even though Bob was willing to play around with his family man persona, he was also just as willing to embrace it. Now, after nearly 2 decades spent reinventing himself as one of the bluest comics around, well, Bob, he would actually return to the role that made him famous in the revival series titled Fuller House.
And
I'll binge watch that.
He also spent 9 years providing the voice of the narrator on How I Met Your Mother as the older version of the series' main character, Ten Mosby. Mosby? I think it's Mosby. Anyway, my first thought was, why can't he do it? Or how much cigarettes and booze do you have to sound like me? But seriously, I did it immediately because I read it. It was a love letter. It was a relationship show. That's right. Surprise, surprise, but Bob also had a romantic side to him as well. Now, back in 2015, he'd meet his future wife, Kelly Rizzo, through a mutual friend. Only 2 years later, they'd be engaged, officially tying the knot in October of 2018. He took his time, but hey, I guess he was having a wild time. Who knows? By 2020, Bob was preparing to hit the road once more for a tour when the pandemic descended and put a stop to everything. Now, instead, Bob, he adjusted and he started his own podcast titled Bob Saget's Here For You, featuring guests like Tiffany Haddish, Jason Sudeikis, and Whoopi Goldberg.
It's a podcast that I'm going to do until I can't talk, which might be later today if I'm told not to talk.
Eventually, when the world began to open back up, well, Bob planned to finally hit the road once more. Now, his tour was set to take him all over North America, from New York City to here in Toronto. But unfortunately, well, it would come to an end before it really even got a chance to get started. In the early hours of Sunday morning on January the 9th, 2022, well, Bob took to Instagram to commemorate having spent the past 2 hours on stage performing in Jacksonville, Florida, expressing how happy he was to be back on the road. And yet somehow, tragically, only only a few hours later, well, the news would break that Bob had been found dead in his Ritz-Carlton hotel room, which was located out in Orlando.
For so many in my generation, Bob Saget was our TV dad growing up, and kids today have the chance to watch him play that iconic role of Danny Tanner all over again in Fuller House.
Originally deputies, they were called to the hotel in regards to an unresponsive man. Upon arriving at the scene, well, that man was determined to be Bob Saget. Now, detectives, they were quick to clarify that no signs of foul play or drug use were discovered at the scene. In other words, the cause of Bob's death and just exactly what happened to him, well, it's yet to be uncovered. But the grief and the sadness over his loss is only just beginning. Now, a short time after the news broke, well, Bob's former co-star, John Stamos, well, he took to Twitter to express his shock over the loss of his close friend. Even Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, generally known for being about as private as it gets, well, they would speak out publicly in his honor, releasing the following statement. Bob was the most loving, compassionate, and generous man. We are deeply saddened that he's no longer with us, but know that he will continue to be by our side to guide us gracefully as he always was. We are thinking of his daughters, wife, and family, and are sending our condolences. Now, we here at Before They're Famous, we would like to echo those same feelings. The great thing about Bob Saget was how multifaceted and truly, well, himself he was. Now, the man was not only America's dad, but also the country's dark, morbid, and truly hilarious uncle. Seriously, I grew up with the later guy, and he was just, you never knew what was going to come out of his mouth.
Hey!
And yeah, well, he'll be missed. My name is Michael McCrudden. Please take a moment to share your condolences or to, you know, just RIP Bob Saget. He's an immense talent. I'll see you guys in another video.
That was good.
Okay, that's crazy.
I also know Jim Carrey was also deeply saddened by Bob Saget.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of people in the industry, So this happened in January. It seemed like it was months ago. I felt like it was months ago.
I felt like it was a while back.
She said that he was just about to get on the road, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when the story broke. I just didn't realize it was like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, time flies. Yeah.
It does, yeah.
So Danny Tanner, Wake Up San Francisco. Yeah, I knew that. So when I watched How I Met Your Mother, I'm like, that voice. You know, I did not watch like every episode. By the time I watch it, I'm like, that voice just sounds so familiar. You know, I did not know who it was till like later on, until I believe after the show stopped airing, when it ended, the series ended. Then I found out it was Bob Saget. So I'm like,
so
holy shit! It's like, that's why it sounded so familiar every time. You know, he narrated everything. Yeah. So that was good. Good video,
really
Good. That's good. Good.
Informative.
I used to watch Full House on Nick at Night. Do you remember?
I think so, yeah.
No?
I know
All
Full
the
House.
time. Huh?
Who are you talking to? Nick at Night? I never had cable.
I had Nick at Night. I was on that shit.
So, well, the thing
hooked me up. Full House.
I think they had like a roasting of Bob Saget,
Yeah, they did.
That's when I really saw like the raunchy side of Bob Saget. You know, where he was referencing his cast members, like no matter what age, he was just like aggressive with it. I'm like, holy shit, this Danny Tanner, you know? So yeah, it's crazy.
Video, Bob Saget.
Yeah, we grew up with him. Yeah, everybody grew up with him. So
he was gonna do so much more stuff.
Yep, like I said, we're paying tribute to those that are no longer with us, the people that aren't part of our life but has been part of our lives, so to speak. Yeah,
Definitely have.
Yeah. So more of the entertainment industry. And on that note, if you do like our reaction, please like, comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Everywhere you look.